personal line, and we can discuss things that way. So office hours are Wednesdays, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, except this coming Wednesday. That's the 27th of November. I'm going to actually be away from Wednesday through Monday. That's Wednesday the 27th through Monday the 1st. Monday the 1st of September. So because of that, I've scheduled office hours for Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. as well as on Monday. And I don't remember what the time was that I set for that. Oh, hold on, I can find out. So I've set office hours for Monday 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. as well. So any questions you have about the class, about the beginning of class, feel free to contact me at any of those 2 times. All right, 2 textbooks, Brief History of Philosophy by Derek Johnston, and The Elements of Philosophy, edited by Gendler, Siegel, and Kahn. In addition to that, I'm adding primary texts to Angel, so you can dive into some things that these 2 books missed. And in addition to that, as we move a little later in the quarter, I'm going to be putting some readings on reserve at the library. There's some stuff that just isn't available electronically yet because copyrights haven't run out, and so on and so forth. So some stuff I will have to put on reserve in the library. And I will give you plenty of notice about that, so you can have a chance to run in and take a look at it and do what you need to do with it. So I think that does it. You have the schedule from weeks 1 through 7. Week 1 is going to be pretty heavy. Week 2 isn't going to be quite as heavy. But then from there on out, it's going to be pretty constant. Let's see, what else do I have to say? Oh, one note about the authors. You will no doubt have noted that all of these authors are men. And my apologies for that. But at least, well, in the current state of the study of philosophy in the West, there just hasn't been a lot of credit given to a lot of women in terms of their philosophical contributions, and that's really too bad. I, in fact, have only studied one woman philosopher when I went through school. Her name is Hannah Arendt, and I will talk about her when we get to the 20th century because she's actually pretty cool and has some pretty great ideas and really connected back to classical Greece primarily in a really relevant and interesting way for the middle of the 20th century. So I apologize that we don't have more women philosophers. Perhaps when I teach this again, I will have had a chance to read more political thought or logical thought or more thought by women authors, and we'll have a chance to include them. But this time we didn't, and it's not in our History of Philosophy book, our sort of Cliff's Notes book, so it's not in there. And that's too bad. But hopefully things will change over the course of the next few generations, and we'll have a lot more women in philosophy and a lot more recognition of the contributions that women have made to philosophy over the years. So let's move into week 1 goals. At the end of this week, what I would like for you guys to be able to do is really describe the political and social, intellectual environment in which the 3 authors that we're going to be reading this week, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, what the environment was really like in which they thought and taught. I would also like to be able I would like you to be able to describe the major themes and questions that each of these thinkers was concerned with. I want you to be able to comment on those intelligently, and that's what the That's what the thought paper is for, and to some extent what the project as well is for. I want you to be able to define the following terms. Philosophy, we just covered that. Metaphysics, epistemology, teleology, theory, and praxis. We'll go over those more in a subsequent lecture. And I want you to be able to define the following forms of government and provide an example if one has existed. There are some of these that you may decide just never really ever happened. So the forms of government are monarchy, aristocracy, polity, tyranny, oligarchy, and democracy. I want you to be able to describe Plato's doctrine of the forms and the allegory of the cave. And I want you to be able to compare Plato's and Aristotle's view of justice and virtue and describe how each thought society and government related to our human pursuit of those ideas. So, 7 things, covers quite a bit of ground, and hopefully it won't be too incredibly intimidating for you. And hopefully we'll be able to get through the first week and having given you guys a really good idea of what these original and pretty incredible thinkers brought to the Western world, because these guys truly were the intellectual foundation that the rest of Western thought has built on over the years, and you'll find their ideas popping up again and again and again. So it's well worth working hard to study these guys and figure out what it is that they have to say. So that concludes the introductory lecture. Following this, there will be a lecture on the history of classical Greece, the environment in which Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle worked. And then following that will be some short lectures on Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle's thoughts in and of themselves. Well, hope you enjoyed looking at my face, talking to you, and weren't too frightened by it. And from here on out, at least this week, the rest of the lectures will just be audio only. So over and out, and I'll see you in the next lectures.